Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Good afternoon. So this is my topic, cracking the competition code. My 2 pence on what could be a winning formula. Before I start, you've heard about this before, yeah? People talk about case competitions. I mean, there are good things, there are bad things. Sometimes you even roll your eyes, yeah? Mention about case competitions to your friends outside business school, and you would get looks of confusion. But before I even get into the nuts and bolts of what it takes to crack a case competition, what is a case competition, right? Now, let me get to the basics. So in a case competition, you essentially have participants striving to come out with the best possible solution to a given business issue in a given time period. I think I've oversimplified it. It's more than that. It's a test of your leadership. It's a test of your commitment. It's a test of your creativity and also your appetite to excel. Let me give you an example. Let's say a pharmaceutical company wants to launch a product in EMEA, and they want to come up with a launch strategy. So what do? You would look at the company financials. You would look at the product line. You would look at competition. You would look at what the market is doing right now. You would look at government regulations. You would look at what is the kind of investment that's required to launch a product. Could be marketing, could be a whole lot of regulatory stuff. What really cuts it for the CEO? I mean, after the investment, what's the impact on his top line and bottom line? Now it gets complicated. But you can get 50% of it right if you have a basic checklist. And I'm going to help you guys form that over the course of this presentation. Coming to the team formation, it's critical that you get the team right. Yeah, I mean, with case competitions, it's not a one-man's game. It depends on the entire team. So this is a popular term. It's the hustler, the hacker, and the hipster. It was coined by AKQA's CTO, Ray Inamoto. And he says that you need 3 personality types to create your minimum viable team. But he referred to a minimum viable team for a startup company. I've borrowed it liberally for my theory about what it takes to create a dream team for a case competition. You essentially need the hipster to come up with these big ideas, but you also need a hacker to come up with the numbers to back up these big ideas, and you need the hustler to actually sell it to the audience. And that's what you require. But there's certain things that you need to keep in mind when you present, is that these case competitions take 3 or 4 weeks, yeah? And you get deeply invested in your big idea, all the numbers. It's just that when you have these beautiful, well-crafted slides, you need to step back and ask, so what? What is the audience's key takeaway from each slide? If that slide does not contribute to your story, does not take it forward, if it does not add up to this beautiful vision you've created for the CEO, if it does not answer his question, then use my favorite phrase, just delete it. Yeah? And don't forget to have an executive summary. The beauty of an executive summary is that whatever you've constructed over 3 or 4 weeks, how do you as a hustler just deconstruct it and just get to the bare bones and just the hard facts to actually win the CEO over in a minute? That's your executive summary. It's so beautiful. Don't ignore it. Why participate? Well, I've given 8 fantastic reasons. You probably have 800 more out there, but these things really matter to most of the people I've spoken with. Validation. You have a safe environment to actually test what you learn in class and get feedback from industry professionals live. I mean, what better way than to try case competitions? Prizes. There are some case competitions which are really lucrative. I can guide you when we meet at the bar. Experience. Maybe you come from a financial background and you want to know what pharma is like. So then try a pharma case competition. Networking. You get to meet some of the brightest minds from around the world, both students as well as jury members. You should try case competitions. The thrill. Now, they say that diamonds are formed from coal under pressure. It works for case competitions as well. Unlike your project teams, which last a month, maybe 2 months, in case competitions, you're all cooped up at Dover Street after your class hours, and tensions can rise, and this is when some of the best friendships are formed. The adrenaline rush you get when you actually present, a lot of people thrive on that. At least I thrive on that. Building teams. Now, you don't get to build teams until your international business project. But with case competitions, everything's under your control. You get to choose your teams. You get to see what works and what doesn't work, because it's all about personality types. And you will learn that during your MBA, that a lot of it is to do with soft skills. You might have 5 brilliant minds together in a team, but that team will not win you the final prize. Or you will have 5 absolute losers who function really well as a team, who are single-minded, driven, motivated, and they will actually do really well. Travel. Maybe you just want to go to a new destination. Maybe you fancy Milan or Amsterdam or Norway. Just try a case competition there. Team dynamics. Like I said, it's quite critical to know your personality type. And nobody's a bad individual. Everybody is here because they deserve it. But you need to know what kind of a personality you are and who you get along with. And there are certain types of people who would really make you look better. And those are the ones who would actually make the team function better. So yeah, so that's a reason. So these are like the best practices. I mean, you could come up with more, but these are like, I think, the most essential ones. If you get this right, you would get most of it right. Team composition and alignment of objectives. When you say team composition, like I said, it's easy to get all great people from finance backgrounds and everything. You would see people go blah, blah, blah about having the right diversity, great mix of skills, great backgrounds, but it doesn't amount to anything if you're not single-minded, motivated, and driven. Alignment of objectives. Everybody's after success, but success has different definitions for everybody. You have, for some, success is networking. For some, success is travel. For some, success is getting the prize money. So lay out your objectives up front and ensure that everybody knows what everyone's after. Have a checklist and discuss roles. When I say checklist, there are some basic things that you need to ensure that you have in your presentation, like financial modeling. A lot of people ignore it. They just focus on the big idea. But if you have a big idea, it's a marketing strategy. Don't forget the customer journey map. I mean, these are the basics that that you need to ensure that are there. Like I mentioned, executive summary. A lot of people forget that. So get that right. Also, decide on who's going to handle the Q&A, who's going to handle the presentation. So assign all those roles, find out the strengths of your teammates, and then play to their strengths. Time management and perseverance. So these case competitions, although they take 3 weeks or 4 weeks, time management is essential because you have your own projects, you have your own submissions, your own deadlines. So you need to have a timeline and then adhere to it. And the moment one person falls out of the track, you'll have the entire team just losing interest because it's a team game. And you got to persevere, because there are a lot of teams who give up halfway because there's a lot of commitment that goes into this, a lot of research. So you need to keep that in mind. Always begin with the end in mind. You need to understand what is the CEO's question and then fan out backwards. Start from the end and then work your way. Research. 50% of the case competition depends on your idea and the numbers. If the idea really depends on how well you understand the pain points, and that won't happen if you don't research. Especially, say, if you're cracking the J&J for the pharmaceutical. You need to understand what are the government regulations, and it can get really deep. You would find yourself staying overnight just researching at Dover. And your numbers. Don't come up with numbers if you can't back them up. You need to be really grounded in reality. You don't want fancy numbers just out there. Always tell a good story. Everybody loves a good story. Finish your presentation early. Get done 2 or 3 days before submission, and just look at the slides again. Just feel it. Just see if the flow is right, if you can tell a good story, if there aren't any breaks. Back it up with solid numbers. Don't forget your numbers. But a lot of people go wrong there. You don't need to be a finance professional to get the numbers right. These are basic financial modeling which anybody can do. I've seen people from creative backgrounds excel really well in financial competitions only because they're committed and they put in the requisite number of hours. Know your value proposition, and by that I mean internalize it. If you're telling a good story, believe in your story. Yeah. So spend some time, scratching the surface. Below all that fluff, is there actual weight to what you're trying to convey? Are you making real world impact with this idea? And dare to dream. Go big with your ideas. Don't be Don't think artificial intelligence or blockchain is not relevant. You can make world-changing ideas by just dreaming big. And finally, is it for you? Hashtag Dover Nights, hashtag Sundays aren't fun days, hashtag you win some, you lose some, but hashtag what are you waiting for? That's it for me. Thank you, guys.